that would probably be the best design shirt that Holland ever made by a mile. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay, can't complain.
I've got a collection of shirts from back in the day for you
I
here.
see it, man. That looks awesome.
I've picked out 5 shirts from your career, like a long career. You're still playing 18 years since you made your debut, for us to have a chat about and the memories that come back. So let's start with the debut, 19th of October 2002. Your first start for Ajax against AZ Alkmaar. What did it feel like running out at the Amsterdam Arena in this shirt?
Man, that's a special shirt, and till this day, I think you can still wear that kit till this day. It's just a retro shirt, but it looks so clean and it's timeless. You know the way how it's designed. But it's so special to me because, obvious what you just mentioned as well. You know, I made my debut with that shirt, and I remember that day when I got that phone call from the head coach back then, Ronald Koeman, saying that there were so many players injured at that time, and if I was available to play as a left back in a game, 17 years old, and of course I said yes. I mean, it wasn't my position, but how can you say no to put like that? So it gave me a really special memory when I see that shirt, and I got loads of these shirts still from that time, and I remember debuting with the number 26 under that shirt. So yeah, that's a really special shirt, man, because it's a boyhood dream, you know, for me as a youngster coming from Amsterdam, born and raised in Amsterdam, you know, going through the whole academy, and then coming to that point that you finally can make your debut at the first team. So it's a special shirt, man.
And you were you straight in the deep end as well with the Champions League. You know, you made your debut in that age of 17, and you scored at Highbury against Arsenal in this shirt. How hard was it up against all those top players? Say Patrick Vieira. You're 18. How are you handling that?
Well, the pressure is there, you know. But luckily for me, it was like before social media was there, right? So there was no the pressure was different. There was pressure, of course, because you wanted to perform, and you know, like you seen these players on television. But there was no immense pressure of like, you know, the whole world watching, and you know that's watching, and that you've always been seeing all this stuff on the news or on your telephone or whatever. But of course, I mean, the pressure is pressure, and you know, as a young kid, that's the nice thing of being young and coming on the rise. Like you just play on the fly because there is no pressure for you. You know, you can do wrong. People will say, yeah, you did wrong. He's still young. He have to learn. He can make mistakes. You know, and then when you do well, all of a sudden you're the star that is upcoming. So as a young kid, you know, you just have to go with the flow. And that shirt was also very special. I made my debut, against Lyon in the Champions League away as a left back again in that shirt. So you know, like as for me, that's a special shirt as well.
Memories from 2002, and this Ajax team, it was some great names in it. Oh, none more so than Zlatan. Have you got any Zlatan stories for me?
Zlatan stories, man. Let me see if I can recall some Zlatan stories. Yeah, I got a great Zlatan story as well. Like, you know, Zlatan is always the kind of player that always try to intimidate players, right? If it is his opponents or his own teammates. I remember we had a training session one day, and he was going back and forth with Thomas Galasek, you know, a tireless defensive midfield player that played in our squad at that time. And the time that we came to the dressing room, we were going back and forth. And all of a sudden he said, Thomas, if you don't shut your mouth right now, you're going to see what you're going to do, what I'm going to do. He was like, what you going to do, man? You're always having this big mouth. Mate, on the way to the dressing room, he picked him up, put him in the bin, these big bins where they put all the trash. He put him in the bin, closed the top, and close the top, like the lock of the top. So he was in that bin for like at least 10 minutes. And he made sure, Zlatan, that everybody who passed by could not open that bin for a good 10 minutes. Man, he's a great guy. He was a great guy, a fun guy as well.
And as a young player in that team, I mean, there was also Van der Vaart and Wesley Sneijder. Was there a competition or a rivalry between you guys for like who was the hottest prospect or not?
Not really. You know, we all came very close one after the other in the first team. Rivalry is always going to be there, but it was like a healthy rivalry. You know, like we play a little bit different positions. You know, Snyder and Rafael were more close when it comes down to their position. I had like different kind of positions on the pitch where I could play, but it was healthy. I mean, it was good because we came in a time that the youth system was very important for Ajax, and you know, the mix with like a lot of experienced players in that team was great. So yeah, of course there was rivalry, but I mean, I think it was healthy, and I think at that time we just was so close to each other because we knew like we were these new stars upcoming in this Ajax team, and you know, like playing for Ajax, you have to have this a little arrogance, you know, like we call it in Ajax academy. You have to have this like cockiness, you know, like I play for Ajax and I'm the best in the world. So when we came through the ranks and we came in that first team, we came there as a 17, 18-year-old, like in the dressing room, thinking we knew it all. So that helped in a way, you know, like to settle in the dressing room as well. And they like that about us.
And it helps you for your career, that swagger, that arrogance. It saw you through your career.
Of course, but with that attitude, you gotta perform as well. You can't have that attitude and not perform. So, you know, like for me, coming from Amsterdam West, you know, always been on the streets when it comes to street football, and always been playing, and always like do that like mentality. You transfer that back on the pitch. So, you know, like for me, that was my quality. Of course, I was not the best player when it comes down to technical wise and technical abilities. My strength was my mentality and my determination and dedication. So when you transfer that on the pitch as well, you know, that arrogance will come by itself. So everywhere you go, away games, home games, wherever you go, you know, like you say, yeah, we're the best. We're Ajax Amsterdam, man. We're the best. So, you know, like before you go on the pitch, you have to make sure in the tunnel that your opponent was already 1-0 down.
January 2006, you signed for Hamburg, linking up with Van der Vaart. What's your favourite memory from your time in Germany?
Some great memories. I think the best memory that I had there is like scoring the winner against Bayern Munich away 2-1, a header in the blistering cold, man. I think it was like -10, snowing. It was just a crazy game, and there was like Bayern Munich like on top as well with the Ballack, you know, all these players there, Kahn, Oliver Kahn, and so on. So
was it the first time that they'd ever lost at the new stadium?
In Allianz, yeah, exactly right. So that was a great memory. But overall, I think that memory, when I see that shirt, I think that was for me, it was a transition as a player, because I went from Ajax Amsterdam to be this technical ability having player to go to Germany and see what was the flip side of football. That you have to do more than just being a technical gifted player. You have to go through the work motion. You have to go through the grind. And in Germany, you know, Germans are really straightforward when it comes down to the work ethic. It's impeccable. So I had to learn quick on a young age, because I was 20 years old when I made that move to Hamburg. And I had to learn quick what it meant to be, you know, a professional football player, a real professional football player.
And again, joining that team, there's some other up-and-coming stars like Vincent Kompany and Jerome Boateng. Can you tell when a player is going to be world class? Is there something you can spot at that early age?
Well, you can spot it, yeah, a little bit. But, you know, when you're young, like you have to go through ups and downs to really see if a player can reach full potential. And of course, like a club as Hamburg at that time, you know, we were like an established team in the Bundesliga with a good financial background. So they were buying players, future player, you know, player for the future, but also with great potential. So when they buy these kind of players, Vincent Kompany, Jerome Boateng, Van der Vaart, Bularus, me, and so on, they know that they have quality to become a great player and to help their club further. So when I seen these players coming in, you knew, you know, like, because you watch football, so you see them also playing for these other clubs before coming in. So you knew there was potential, but it's only a matter of time when they're gonna really reach full potential. But at that time, at Hamburg, it was hard to see.
Hamburg were buying some great players at that time, weren't they? And whoever was doing the transfers was had the great knowledge. Obviously, my passion is classic football shirts. Right. Is it fair to say that yours is classic cars? And it was while you're at Hamburg that you set up a business specialising in that.
Yeah, I still am. A huge admirer of classic, everything that's retro, but classic cars I love. I always say I'm a 35-year-old with a 60-year-old soul. I just love everything that's retro. Old, classic, nostalgia. Everything like that. So yeah, cars obvious, but I love shirts. I love everything that's classic. It could be sneakers, could be.
So I've got a question for you then.
Yeah.
If you had to pick between Holland 88 or a Ferrari F40, what are you going for?
Oh, can I wear that in the Ferrari F40?
I'd love to see it, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. I'll wear that shirt in the Ferrari F40.
Done.
Because that is a classic shirt, man. I mean, I think that would probably be the best design shirt that Holland ever made by a mile.
Yeah, it's for me, it's the greatest shirt there ever has been. You think Rudolph's dreadlocks, Marco van Basten scoring that volley. It's just so iconic.
It brings back so many memories, every time you see that, because they're showing it over and over, especially through this pandemic. All the replays you see him going back and forth on television. So when you see that shirt, man, it just makes you instantly happy as a Dutchman, because how many memories are going behind that shirt.
Next up, Man City. We're going straight to it. You were there. You were on the pitch. Aguero. What was the emotion like when the ball hit the back of the net on that day, and the most dramatic title ever?
You can't really put your emotions in place because it was such a roller coaster when that happened, because in the space of 2 minutes you were going from being a loser and forever being that noisy neighbor to a Premier League title winner and being on top of the city. So it was just such a roller coaster of emotions. And yeah, I can just remember when he scored a goal, I just went flying to him, and we were all on that side, and I think you can remember the images. Everybody was piling up on each other. I think Joe Hart was running wild as a crazy dog around the stadium. Like the fans went nuts. And I just remember that final blow of that whistle, and just everybody just invaded that pitch, man. All the fans just invaded the pitch, and I was looking for my family somewhere in the skybox up there. I couldn't see them, and I got stripped by my shirt. I got stripped by my socks, my shorts, and I had to find a way through the fans to go through the dressing room. But that's a special shirt, man. That brings back a lot of memories.
I always felt like your playing style was really suited to the Premier League. Did you feel most at home when you were here?
Yeah, I think so. I think, like the way how I interacted with the fans, the way how they see me as well as one of themselves. And, you got to understand, I came before all the big money came in, before City right now. So I went from the transition of Carrington, the old Carrington, the having the basket in the middle with all the clothes and fighting over it, who has the best clothes for training, to going to the luxury that City is now. So I gotta say, yeah, it was one of the best times there.
I love Italian football. So, I mean, for me, to wear this shirt and play at the San Siro, that must be like a dream. But what was it like?
When you're a Dutch football player, and you think of Milan, you think of the big three. You think of Van Basten, Gullit, Rijkaard, right? So as a young kid, I was always watching the sport program in the 90s, Italy, like the World Cup, Italy 90, and then you go through the 90s and you see all these big players coming up. So for me, when they come knocking on my door after my time at City, it was a no-brainer. This was a no-brainer. I mean, that's probably the biggest club with the most history, now in Italy. So for me, that was a no-brainer. And, you feel it immediately when you come in the city, when you walk around, when you put a shirt on, that logo, it's something special, man. I mean, when you're a player from Milan, and when you come in Milanello, that training facilities is special, man. You really gotta feel it and embrace it,
And you scored the winner in the derby against Inter. Is that your favourite goal of your career?
Yeah, one of my favorite goals. Yeah, I gotta say one of my favorite goals in my career. You know, like after that, it just exploded for me in Milan, especially in the fan base, and of course the player that I am, the dedication that I always show, and the work rate that I always show, and scoring that winner, and beating a rival as well. That was it for them. So again, like Manchester, till this day, when I walk in Milan, I get so much love still, you know, from the Milan fans, and you know that was special day. And with that shirt, man, I mean, so many memories coming back. So yeah, it's a great looking shirt as well.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it's a great shirt, and they made some great shirts, you know, over the years. But if I gotta pick a shirt for Milan, it's not gonna be that one. It's gonna be the retro shirt, man.
You've got the Mediolanum, like
Exactly.
Adidas or
Exactly which one. You know exactly which one it is. You know, with the retro Adidas logo,
yeah.
original logo. So that gotta be my favorite shirt, man. When I have to pick one.
And what about you know, your former Dutch teammate Clarence Seedorf when he became your boss? What was that like?
It was special. It was really special because, you know, me growing up as a kid, I always idolized Clarence Seedorf. You know, I think I have one of those pictures when I was a young boy, and then before game days, you could always like go on the picture with one of your favorite players. And I chose him at that time when he was like 17 years old, and he was at Ajax Amsterdam, and I was a little kid. So I always idolized him, you know. And over the years, we became very close. You know, he's like a big brother for me, giving me a lot of advice throughout my career. Uh, so when he became coach, it was really special because he knew the club for so long. He's a legend there, you know. He's just an absolute legend. And you know, as a fellow Dutch teammate, and now my coach, it was a special friendship and a special relationship when he was a coach there. Unfortunately, he didn't have the best time. After 6 months, he had to leave. But it was special for the short time being.
Last but not least, Holland and the 2010 World Cup. I mean, we've got to talk about it.
Yeah, of course.
You got
Andre Oye's shirt, yeah?
It is. It's the man, Andre.
I remember the numbers. I remember the that's imprinted here, man. That is imprinted here.
I mean, is that it must be the proudest moment of your career, like to play in a World Cup final is, I mean, that's boyhood dreams. That's what it's all about, isn't it?
I think so, yeah. I think that was one of the highlights of my career, and one of my proudest moments. I think every little boy childhood dream is to stay in a final of a World Cup, you know? So yeah, for me, that was the same thing. And yeah, looking at that shirt, it brings a lot of memories, you know, going through the whole build up towards that World Cup, the preparation, the training camp, eventually reaching that final. So yeah, it was a great experience. And of course, unfortunately, everybody knows what happened during that final, that we didn't win it. But I was proud on that shirt and that logo as well, and representing my country.
And I've got to say, you know, the kung fu kick. I mean, it's just one of those great iconic images that in 50 years' time, people are still going to be showing it, aren't they? What happened there? You know, do you think it's maybe overhyped or it was just an accident?
No, it's not overhyped. I mean, you know, and in the heat of the moment, things like that happen. And you know, for me as well, it was like it was never. I was literally going for that ball, and then seeing Xabi Alonso coming in, and I was just too late. It was just a reckless fall. But you know, with the adrenaline, like going in, and also knowing that Spain was the best team in the competition. You know, we had a sort of playing style that we had to get on them pretty early on, because you know, like you can't compete with them. Play Falcon football style. So yeah, for me, it's not an overhyped thing, and of course, I get referred to it every time. Every time they see me, they see the image. But I'm over it, man. I accepted it. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is, and that's also part of me. That's part of my career, and you know, you gotta see it like that.
Who's the best player you swapped with?
The best player I swapped with, gotta be Makalele. I think for me, because I'm looking at my position, right?
Yeah.
It's gotta be Makalele, Patrick Vieira when I was a young kid playing for Ajax, Thierry Henry, I got Rivaldo. Who else? I got loads, man. You know,
It sounds like a good collection. I look forward to seeing it.
I got so many shirts. It's just unreal. Like, you know, you gotta understand. Like, I collected these over a span of 17 years.
Yeah.
Just, you know, I just really have to get them out here and just put them in order.
With your dad being a pro, did he ever bring shirts back for you?
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
like this one when he was playing at PSV.
Yeah, man, that's a classic. You know, when I was a young boy, I remember that. That's from the 1991 season?
Yeah.
Yeah, 1991. So yeah, that was a classic shirt, and I had one from Romario. You know, back then there were no names on the back, so there was all the numbers. So I had that one. I had the one from number 11, Kalusha. I don't remember if you knew him, the left winger from a great player. Neil Empty, if you remember him, number 8 shirt. Yeah. So I got all these retro shirts, man, back in the days.
And who was your hero growing up?
Gotta be Romario. You know, like as a kid, seeing Romario playing in that shirt, and seeing him from up close, because back in the days when my dad played with him for 2 years, I was often on the training facilities of PSV, and you know, seeing him and just mesmerized by him. So I really didn't have great like heroes. I didn't never had like posters on my walls. I really never had that like admiration for players, but when I seen him, I was in awe, man.
That's amazing. Romario, what a player. Last question then. What's your favourite shirt? I think you've touched on it a little bit with the Milan, but are you going for a retro shirt or something from your career?
My favourite shirt gotta be, I think the Milan shirt. You know, the Milan was for me, that was just, you know, it was the whole package. It was the shirt, the white shorts, you know, the black socks or the white socks. You know what I mean? Like the combination. It was so impressive. So that was probably one of my favorite shirts. And the Dutch 88, man. The Dutch 88 shirt is just a classic. And if you think about it, till this day, which shirt is more iconic than the 88 shirt? Maybe the Brazil 2002, maybe, with Ronaldo.
Yeah, with Ronaldo with the shaved leave a little bit of the front.
Maybe that shirt, you know, remember that with the R9s, and that's maybe more iconic. Well, apart from that, there's not a better looking shirt than that one. So I gotta go for the Milan 90, 91, and the Holland 88.
Great choices. I can't argue with that. You're a man of great taste. Thanks a lot for your time. Really appreciate it. Great speaking to you. Thanks a lot.
Okay, man. Take care.
All right. See ya. Bye.
See you, man.